I think there's a lot of, I'm sure, questions and terms and kind of details and stuff. Maybe if Howard and Nathan, you guys want to just join for the Q&A. Yeah. As long as you guys have questions, I think we're happy just to engage.
Okay. I also think perhaps the value of the incubation. So you can see that
I left out those other two programs.
As we help you through those processes, I mean, that's really what Santam is paying for. So you get that support for participating in this process. So the mentorship, there's lots of help they give you to help you build the prototype, to build the concepts. I mean, they've got a network of people, patent lawyers, developers.
Can I add that in quick? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is the first.
I think that and the value of that as well.
Yeah. So if we jump all the way to there. After this ideas competition, the purpose of this is to validate good ideas or good concepts, all right? After this, like immediately almost following on after this thing, we have a knowledge acceleration program that we run that basically gets you from a valid idea to a feasible plan. And that's the purpose of that thing. So it's a 12-week, kind of 3.5, 4-month program to run you through, especially if you're not a business person, you're a more technical person. We just give you all those kind of third-year BCom skills to be able to run a business roughly. And then you can build that into a good plan with mentorship, with someone like me that's a portfolio manager hand-holding you through that, and a guy like Hannes van Rensburg, I can't promise you him, but someone that's been there and done that and made $100 million, someone to walk with you through that. And then after that, there's a countdown program that's kind of your more typical acceleration program that's a 6-month-long thing that gets you from a feasible plan to a proven business model with lots of customer surveying and market research and getting out there, talking to people, getting them using it, selling your thing to people, getting feedback, implementing that back into the product, and doing that over again, build, measure, learn, the lean startup way, all of that kind of thing. And the value of that, just the coaching up to 150,000 Rand is roughly what it is. It's good for as long as you're in the program doing this kind of thing, and that's outside of any kind of building a prototype if Santam needs to do some of that, or if there's some other thing that needs to happen and you need some investment for that. We have a network of about 30 venture capital and angel investors around Stellenbosch that come shopping regularly. Michael Jordan is there fairly often. There's a few of his companies that are there that they've kind of worked with via Angel Hub. And Van Finn, Knife Capital. There's lots of investors that are always interested in things that we can connect you to that would be a good precursor to a larger kind of corporate venture fund that Santam would bring to help you bridge that gap. Is that enough?
Yeah, I think so.
So just to reiterate that we don't own the idea. Okay, I think you guys must just understand that we're not here to take your ideas and to go and make lots and lots of money.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to partner with you, and at any point in time, you are unhappy or you want to do something else with it. It's your prerogative. So that's on the outset. I want to say that.
Yeah. So I mean, just to recap, maybe very quickly, and then we can have some questions and talk about it for some of the people that are out late. So Santam's in the business of insurance. We insure assets. We insure some things that are important to people. We're launching the Safety Ideas program. And the Safety Ideas program is really looking for your ideas. And we are willing to support you through an incubation and a startup process to get your idea to become a reality. Okay, and as I said tonight, we can talk a little bit. You can ask some questions if you want to understand a bit more about what we mean by safety. Showed you the 2 clips. It is on the website if you want to go look again. But really, I think that's the story. And Brandon gave you insight into the incubation process. We will be able to provide that support to you wherever you are. So, Launch Labs in Cape Town, but they've got facilities and a network of people throughout the country to support you and, so to speak, hold your hand, as I said, through the process of taking the idea to a fully fledged business plan that an investor can look at and you could walk away with your own business. Okay. So, any questions? Sure. Let's start over there.
Okay. First off, thanks guys. Thanks for the initiative. I think it's a great one. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of it.
Maybe just your name and...
Sorry, my name's Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Hi guys. This product or the solution, does it have to be something tangible, or can it be a platform of sorts?
No, it doesn't have to be tangible.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't have to be tangible.
And then, just following on from what you said about not owning the idea, does any third party reserve the right to co-brand with it? Or?
So I think the first phase is really everybody puts their stuff in, and it's yours.
Yes.
But when you start to work with us, when you qualify and you move to the when we start helping you, so basically we're now investing in you. There is some terms and conditions around that.
For sure.
And I mean, the terms and conditions are on the website as well. You can go look at them. But in terms of the IP of your safety idea, it's yours.
Right.
Okay. So basically, I'll put it to you bluntly. I mean, the point is, let's say you enter the process, you've got a great idea, and we take you through, and you end up, spend now 6 months with Santam, and this thing is looking great. So all of a sudden, let's say, Outsurance comes, okay, and they're one of the guys we battle with, right? And they come to you and say, listen, give it to us, yes, whatever. Okay, then you've got to come and talk to us about that.
Sure. Okay.
Because we want the first right to invest.
refusal. Yeah, we have the first right.
And I mean, at that stage, we would have been quite excited about it because you're down the track with us. So our role really is to invest in you, in your business, and getting that business started up. And there will be benefits for us, but there must be benefits for everyone.
Absolutely.
If you exit the process at any point in time, there's no recourse from our side in terms of, because there will be drop-offs.
For sure.
Out of the 20 ideas that come through, we think 3 to 5 will make it through to the end.
The
Does that answer the question?
Yeah, that does. Thank you.
The terms and conditions allows for us not to be able to take an idea that never even got to that stage.
Yeah.
So even if it drops off before that, we cannot go back, take the idea and say, well,
that's yours.
okay, so the terms and conditions will spell them out.
All right, thank you.
Yes, hi guys, my name is Osiso. Basically, I wanted to ask on the question that Brendan basically explained to us that it's sort of a 12-week program. Now, my question basically is, how often do we need to be here, to work together? Is it something that's going to require?
You don't have to be here,
week?
like in Samsung's offices. You don't have to be in Stellenbosch. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's
Yeah.
beautiful, and there's lots of wine, but you don't have to be there.
Yeah.
It's beneficial in lots of ways. We have partner facilities around, so with the VITS, Digital Innovation Zone, we have a very strong partnership with them in particular. Resolution Circle, that's part of UJ, and if it's irrelevant to you, but Cape Town, we have similar things. You can use that space, and we have agreements with them to be able to do that, and we're working with Microsoft to get a free teleconference line put into our partner facilities. That's not going to be ready by the end of the year, so I can't promise you that. But Skype works, FaceTime, Google Hangouts. You don't need to be physically present with us, but if you do need to go around to an expo somewhere and pitch it to some of Santam's execs somewhere, there might need to be some movement every once in a while.
Yeah.
But if we're going to Skype once a month for an hour and try to update your thing and get an update from you on, are you hitting those targets? And even we're building a network of mentors here in Gauteng with our partners at VITS, and then they have their own people that do what I do every day too. So we have all of that up here. You can even Skype with Tanya, that's based at VITS, and she's the portfolio manager there. You can Skype with her from wherever you are in Joburg too.
But I think that if you look at these, so this is the launch lab facility in Stellenbosch, yeah?
Yeah.
So the VITS one and what's the other one? UJ.
Yeah.
They've got similar stuff.
They have their own.
But similar. So the value of sitting there versus sitting in your garage, right? You're surrounded here by free Wi-Fi, like-minded people.
100 megabit.
You can talk to people. Just.
No, but Nathan, I think the point is, if he's a full-time
Employee, yeah, I think that's what you're trying
how
to get.
will this
Yeah.
disrupt?
Yeah.
No, I mean, and that's why you also have the alternative of you work on your own free time, and but if you can go sit there on a Saturday morning, or I've gone there in the evenings. There's always activity. People tend to be working on these things like you know, they've got a day job and then they go there at night and they put in a couple of hours and then go. So if you can get to the facility, it's great. If you can't, there's other ways of working with the mentors and the portfolio managers in terms of support. All right.
You mentioned earlier on about lots of ideas and stuff. Sorry,
Warren.
You mentioned earlier on about lots of ideas and having, it's a good place to have to be. So is there a limit of how many ideas you are that can be submitted by one person?
No.
You can submit as many as you want.
Okay.
So if you've got like, put them through.
So
You said ideas are cheap.
So the thing that we said, all great innovators have hundreds of ideas. Okay? And hundreds of ideas, and from those hundreds, that's what differentiates them from anyone. So.
But I think the frame we're putting around it is really what I was trying to say about safety. So think about it. Try and think about it. But even if you think it might not, put it in anywhere. I mean, we're going to look through all of them, and we from will apply our minds to it and try and make the links. And the ones that we can see, the market attractives, regional time to market, etc., are the ones we'll say, we'll look at these ones. And then the other ones will, they will follow the process.
One maybe helpful case study. Last 2 Mays ago, so not this one but the one before that, 2015, there was a guy, Leo McNally. You didn't judge him, did you? The tall guy with the truck strap thing.
I didn't judge him, but I worked with him on the thing, the truck strap.
Yeah. So he pitched it in May of 2015, and he comes in. He was a master's student, and before he started his master's degree, he was driving to Stellenbosch from, I think, Muizenberg or something, and a truck lost its load on the N2. And he was so pissed off at this whole thing. He's like, right, I'm going to figure out how to fix this thing, because he missed an exam or something ridiculous like that. So he goes into his mechanical engineering master's program, and he builds this device that you hook in truck straps, and he's built in some smart tech to it, and then it will alarm the driver, the logistics company, and the company that insures that load to let everyone know the strap is loose. So everyone's calling the driver and whatever, and the driver's hearing things going off, and he pulls over, tightens the straps. The load doesn't fall off in the N2 anymore, causing however many hundreds of thousands of rands of lost time and lost value by all those people sitting there. Or, opposite, lost time with family, being at home in the evening. And that's just if the load falls out and no one hits it. Let's not even talk about all of the other stuff that happens with that. And that's just a guy in a life experience comes up with this thing, and then pitches it at this competition. He's working full-time as an engineer at another company now, and then in his spare time, he's working on this device, having Skypes with his mentor, comes in the evenings to work with his partner on this thing because they're both working full-time. So it is quite flexible like that. I hope that's a helpful kind of view into a typical launch lab company.
Any other questions? No. I know you want to ask something.
So, my name is Province.
Hi, Province.
So the videos that we submit now, you are not going to really judge by them. You are going to give us a second chance when they pitch it to reshoot again.
No.
Can I?
Yeah.
So the video submissions, you can do it online. Can you go on the website there?
The screen turned off.
You can. So if you go on our website, you can submit it now, and we will keep the video submissions online, open until the 23rd of September. Okay, so until the 23rd of September, anytime you can go online, record your video, upload it. You can do it on your phone, right? But the pitching sessions, there's only one opportunity to attend the pitching session. I think the dates are, I'll have a look here quickly.
17th of September.
Sorry, just a question there. That's if you called in to come and pitch.
No,
or everybody has.
So the pitching is meant for. Look, I mean, if you're not happy doing, putting your camera on and say, I'm Nathan, I've got this great idea. If you don't want to do that, then you can go to a pitching session. And then what they do is, there'll be a guy like that there. Well, I don't know if it's probably a smaller camera.
It won't be as professional as this.
So Brandon will be there, and Brandon will say to you, listen, please address the following points in your video clip. And he'll record you. And then he'll submit it. But that only happens, that's only available on the 7 campuses at those dates that we've got set out. So anytime you can submit online yourself, but if you need to go somewhere, then I think your question is perhaps following. So what happens after that is we might sit now with 1,000 videos. Okay, so we're going to look through each. That's why we make them 3 minutes, because if we make them 5 minutes, we have to look at each video. So we make them 3 minutes because, I mean, you need to be able to say a thing in 3 minutes. So we're going to look at all the videos. Then we're going to choose about, I don't know, 20, 30 or so. We're not hung up on that number just yet. So out of the 1,000, only those ones that we choose to go ahead with, we're going to go ahead with. The rest is now, we'll get a nice email saying, thanks for your idea, you know, we're not going to look at it any longer. You know, the ones that go ahead, they will go through a process where at some stage you may need to come back and pitch in person, okay, to a panel of people.
Panel of people.
Yeah. But that will be at our expense. We'll sort that out. So it may be in Cape Town, and then we'll bring you down to Cape Town, and there'll be a panel of people there, and you're going to have to. Because I think part of the process is also, you think about it, we're investing in you. And we need to see you, and we need to look you in the eyes, and we need to see you take ownership of this idea. And that's why being there in person and pitching your idea is important. And then through the process, we'll help you if you qualify. So there will be a drop-off there at that point as well. So 20 people might come and pitch, and then we're going to sit there and we're going to talk, and there'll be about 5 judges. And there'll be people from an insurance perspective and people from an industry perspective. And they'll look at this thing, and we'll have a little, and we'll choose the best ones. And the best ones go forward. You know.
Can I elaborate?
So just one more.
Yeah.
Did you can submit your video, but you also can come to the pitching session if you want to. Is that possible?
Yeah, either one.
Yeah.
So you could do something different on the video, and you could come to the pitching session. You have one opportunity to pitch a pitching session. Okay.
Just to elaborate before these questions, you can record one on your phone or your computer, whatever, and there's a place to submit it on the santam.co.za/safety ideas website. You can do it that way. I think the size limit is like 400 megabytes. So there's plenty of space. Or there's a form. You can sign up for a 10-minute time slot from the 7th of September in Durban, and then the following week in Joburg from like the 12th, 13th, 14th, the 15th around Gauteng, and then the following week, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday around the Cape Town area. You probably won't go down there. Between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m., you can sign up for a 10-minute slot. So if you come to that slot, the criteria for the pitches are all on the website, and just a business idea. In that 10 minutes, you need to hit those criteria, and then in that 10 minutes, it's a 3-minute pitch. 10 divided by 3, you get a few rounds of that.
You can do it 3 times, basically.
Yeah, but what the benefit of in person versus on the video and versus submitting a video is you go through it once. Myself or someone that's seen probably 1,000 of these by now, we can say, hey, you left out how you're actually going to make money, and which is a key thing, or you left out. Is it just you? Is there a team? You have a software idea, but I don't know any developers on your team. So let's talk about that. So we can help you add the gaps and fill the gaps in your pitch if you do come in person. There's also on our YouTube channel, there's a bunch of old pitches that you can go and view.
That's a
good idea. Give you a good example. It's from the 7th, and then the following week, and then the next week. It closes on the 23rd. And then the 26th and 27th, there will be a selection panel to try to determine, okay, who do we invite to the final? If it's 10, if it's 20, if it's 50. And then the date of that, we're aiming for like the 13th of October, but that's to be determined depending on lots of things. Yeah.
So I check. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. You first, and then other day.
So basically, basically, the simpler the idea, the more user-friendly and already within the existing market. the better chances you do have of actually
Yeah.
viability.
I mean, I think but I mean, it can be an embryo as well. You know, it might not be fully formed as well. I think that's the nice thing about this. We might get all kinds of, I think, in different stages.
So Nathan, the criteria for selection are based on 5 things, or 4 things. What are
Yeah,
they?
it's essentially time to market. Like I said, if it requires something that doesn't exist. I mean, let's say you want to make traffic lights out of a material that doesn't exist. Traffic lights that don't break, so we don't have traffic jams. I mean, how are we gonna do that? You know, it must be original. Okay, so it can't be something exactly like that in the market already. Okay, it must have some kind of application to safety. Okay, and that's the vague bit. Okay, because what does that mean? That's what we tried to show you. And then, I mean, so those are the kinds of things we're going to look at. You know, when we look at the ideas, the video pictures, to select the ones. Okay. There was another question over there.
Hi, I'm good.
And then you.
Just building on what you were saying. So, do you have to have the skills to develop the idea?
No.
Okay, so you don't.
But if you
So
have
how
a
does it
software
work? So
idea,
are you going to help us with the team, etc. If you get through?
Within reason. Look, I mean, if you need Bill Gates to make the thing work, we can't organize it. You know, but I mean, if you need some technical skills, like that's the network that Brandon was talking to. If you need a mechanical engineer, or if you might need a programmer, or or something. I mean, they have the connection of people that they can help you with. But I think the important thing is just to take that first step, and to put the idea succinctly in your head. I mean, the rest will follow from that. But in essence, you don't really need to have. I mean, the things I put something through Launch Lab. I'm not a mechanical engineer or an electrical engineer, but it's something that needed engineering skill. So they got me they partnered me with an industrial engineer, and I worked with him on a prototype. So so that's really how it works. At the end of the day. You had another question?
Yes, basically I was going to ask, based on the submission criteria, after shooting the video on your phone, if it's good but not that tangible, is there like a second round, like you mentioned on the 15th, and if you come in person, then there's going to be sort of a guideline to say, fix 1, 2, and 3 on your video. We think however it can work, but however, you didn't indicate it on the ones you sent on the submission. Is there that kind of a sort of like a second opportunity after submitting it on the phone?
Interesting.
And, it's not very.
You kind of have to pick one or the other, because we're not going to look at any of them until the 26th.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be that opportunity to give feedback on online submissions.
Yeah, so right now, everything that's been submitted, I mean,
Yeah.
there has been some ideas submitted. We haven't looked at them.
Yeah.
So we're
I
going
didn't even
to,
know they've been submitted.
yeah, we're going to sit on that 2 days, even
Yeah.
myself, and we're going to look at the videos.
Yeah.
So if you, yeah, popcorn and Red Bull. So if you're not comfortable with the 3 minute on your phone, that's why the slots are there. Because I mean, I think we realize that some people might not be comfortable doing it themselves. So we create the facility for you to come and do it today.
So sorry, if you've already submitted it online, and if you want to go and pitch the same idea, are you allowed to?
Look, I don't think we've got a validation into saying,
Yeah, we're
God,
not
so you can submit it online, and then you can go there, and then at some stage we're going to look at the videos, and we're going to see the first one, and then later we'll see the other one. So, if we thought it was a good idea first time round, we would say, put it forward, If we thought it wasn't such a good idea, it might fall apart. Let's say we see the next one that went and pitched at the session, and now it sounds better. Then we might say, oh, okay, now, okay, this one. Obviously, there's been some
More
understanding.
thinking to it, yeah.
Yeah. So I think you're right. We're not stopping that from happening.
Yeah, but we're not going to view it,
Until
make
the-
some notes,
yeah.
and then give you that feedback if you come in
Okay.
person.
You see, so I checked now. Even I looked at, for example, SAB's just a month ago also launched a looking for ideas thing, and they've got an online 7-step process. And everything is buttons and you've got to type it up. And I tried it just for the sake of trying it, and then I got to like the second form and I was like, I'm not going to put all, they're asking me questions, I don't even know stuff. So I think there's that way you can do it, okay? So we can go that route and fill in a lot of forms and you write a lot of stuff, and, but now, I think that's one way of gathering the idea. I think my preference is really the 3-minute video. If you can't sell an idea to somebody in 3 minutes, I don't think you might not be able to sell it. So that's why we're going that way.
There's a key difference in what Santam's pursuing with this versus all of these other pitching competitions. South Africa is saturated with startup competitions, the MTN App Awards. Last year I was the judge of the PIRA, the Premier's Entrepreneurship Recognition Awards. It's exactly that. It's lots of forms, and then you submit it. Maybe you win, maybe you don't. You get a prize, maybe it's cash, maybe it's a certificate, whatever, and that's it. But Santam's proposition is, okay, you might get 10 grand, but what you get beyond that is a customer. Your first customer that's a proper customer. And none of the other competitions are really offering that, which is a key differentiator that makes, I work with startups every day. It makes the world of difference to actually sell the product and have that, Santam's one of my customers, then you can sell it to anyone else.
So that's an interesting observation, which perhaps we haven't touched on. So basically what that means, if you take the example I said earlier, let's say it is a good idea, it has real value. It makes people safer, it makes things safer, and Santam can get value from it. We would probably use the product. We take the JAMA scanner. If that product can be manufactured at a price point where we can give a JAMA scanner to our policyholders. Okay, we got like, I don't know, on a personal line side, maybe 500,000 policyholders. So if you're making JAMA scanners, there's an order for 500,000 to start up your business. So that's where we see, where we start to get, so we get the value of, not in your business, okay, we get the value by not having people claim for cars being stolen. That's what we are after.
We've got 1.2 million vehicles on cover.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the size of. So Leo's example, the truck strap guy. I worked with him for a couple of months because we have a transport underwriting manager that just does transport, that just do trucks and cargo and stuff like that. And in essence, we left. We kind of incorporated the trucks. Most of these trucks nowadays have got monitoring systems with cameras and telematics and everything. And it's amazing. You can sit in a control room and see all the indicators of what's happening in a truck somewhere on the N1 between two towns. So Leo, when we worked with Leo, and we would sponsor some of those in truck monitoring systems for policyholders, businesses, transport businesses. So we said to Leo, the best thing for him to do is not to do a standalone thing, but to incorporate it into that system. So now we put him in touch with a company in Stellenbosch that builds those systems, and he now needs to make that truck strap monitor work with the existing truck systems. So now there's one system that monitors the trucks, from a telematics and a sensor and all these kinds of things perspective. So that's, and we do buy that product from that supplier, so he will get something out of that from that perspective. But I think you get the gist of it. We've got the scale, being the largest insurer, general insurance in Africa. We've got the scale to support a business where the thing has that value to us. And I think that's what we're trying to encourage South Africans to come up with.
Right. The one point that we need to be clear, and maybe we can discuss it here, is that from the submission of the videos, the decisions we make is unfortunately going to be final. And I don't believe there is a way for you to come back and say, well, why are my videos not being looked at? So we just need to make sure we understand that. Okay, I'm sure you do. So,
but we don't have all of your details. I know some of you RSVP'd and some of you didn't. If you don't mind giving us your email address, we will communicate with you through the process in terms of where we are with things. So maybe just before you leave, if you haven't registered, if you haven't RSVP'd, just put down your name and your email address and cell phone number, and we can stay in touch on this.